Hi, it's Hans at happierman.com. Today's topic is, it takes time. Well, if you've been watching any of my videos, if you're reading my happierman.com website, if you looked at my book about Leave Your Wife, Become a Happier Man, a 3-step system, you probably are getting the feeling that I'm much happier than I used to be, and that how I got to this happy place took time. I didn't just snap my fingers and all of a sudden I'm happier. It took a certain amount of time, of changing my mindset, of taking action, of resting from the action and recharging and growing and doing it all again, as I talk about in my 3-step system. But all of that, all those things take time. You can't just, you wake up today and you're in this horrible life and you want out of it so badly, but maybe the decision you make is to change it to be a better life. That doesn't take long, but the actual doing it, that is what is going to take time, right? So the part of the reason I have a lot of articles about getting organized and simplifying your life and finding time savers is so you don't waste so much blasted time of your life not doing what you want, right? All these things I talk about in the sense of how can I free up more of my time so I can do what I really want to do, because all these things, they all have to be done, but I don't want them to take so long. I want it to go faster, quicker, easier, all of that. Because your time is your life, right? You can't have a good life without having plenty of time to live it, to experience, to do the things you want to do. So you don't want to waste it doing stuff you don't want to do. And so as soon as you find yourself in a situation where, I'm really not doing what I want to do now, what do I do about it? Well, how do I get out of it? How do I stop it? How do I minimize it? How do I start changing my life from the way it is now to the way it is I want it to be, right? Because that gap from where you are now to where you want to be, that is going to take time. The decision might not take time, but the doing it, the actions, the changing how you approach things, the working with other people. Sometimes the things you're doing are so convoluted and so contrary to the way you want your life to go that it's going to take enormous amounts of time to get you from here to here. And you'll be tempted to say, well, because it takes so long, I don't want to do it. Well, that's a decision also, right? You have to make that one. I would argue that the only thing you have is your life, and if you're not happy with how it is at right now, the only way you're going to get happy is by moving you toward a happier outcome. And that is not easy, and it can take enormous time, enormous effort, enormous money to get so. When I was in my marriage started going to bad at some point, and I didn't wake up one day and said, it's pretty bad, I'm going to leave her today. No. I knew it was bad. I stayed for years, right? Years of my life getting slowly worse and worse and worse until I finally had the courage to leave. But it took me a very long time to get my mind right enough to leave. It was all in my mind to be right enough to leave. Okay, so And that's why I wrote the book for you, Leave Your Wife, Become a Happier Man with a 3-step system. So you don't have to live so long in a bad life. And I don't want that for you. I want you out of that bad life into a good life. But it does take time. So the sooner you get going on making the changes for your life, the better. The sooner you stop doing things that are no good for you, the better. The sooner you do something that you really want to do, the better. In 2016, I had a really, really fun year. Kind of started like early in May, and this fun just kind of continued all the way into November. It was like this party summer and traveling summer, and kind of the summer of my dreams that I'd never had before in my life. And I talk about it on the website. And one of the biggest things I did was I took a trip to Jackson, Wyoming, which is a city by the Grand Tetons, and it's just fantastic. And this was like the first time I'd ever gone on a trip by myself. It's the longest. Up until then, that was the longest time I'd ever been on a vacation. I haven't had a longer one yet either. I'm hoping to change that. And I just had one heck of a good time. But one of the propellants to me doing that was a friend of mine from high school and grade school died. Right? I knew him very well back in grade school and a little bit in high school, but I didn't keep track of him at all after high school. But I heard through the grapevine that he died, and this was like, oh my God, not even 50 years old. Now I think we would have both been about nearly about 51, 52 at that time. And I'm thinking, I've got all the stuff I want to do. I haven't done hardly anything that I've wanted to do. What makes me think I'm going to live so blasted long to do all this stuff? I better do it now. So, I took out a big loan, got all the cash together, and took off. I didn't look for any bargains. I stayed at nice hotels and resort areas, and it was expensive. And I went out to eat, and I went out every night, and I saw all these things, and paid for the gas for this beautiful truck, and it wasn't a cheap gas year, and I had like the time of my life, because there's not that much time, right? As men, we die younger than women. We know that there'll come a point where you just won't have the energy to do these major things. Like, do you think when you're 85, you're going to drive across the country by yourself? Maybe. Hopefully. Probably not. Right? So, you want to do things more, think of things more now. Because it takes time to do them. It takes time to do a little planning. It takes time to pay them off, save the money, whatever. Everything takes time. That's why you don't want to waste it. Because it takes time. All for now.